Let's talk a little Palmetto Bowl, top 12 rivalry in college football. Before I let Lance go in on Clemson here, if Clemson closes as a favorite, first of all, can someone just tell us how to pronounce Clemson? Like,
You
is
said
it
it. It's
Clemson?
Clemson. It's
Clemson.
Clemson.
Is it Clemson? Is it? I don't know.
It's
I need
Clemson.
Moose's help on this. Like
It's Clemson.
Clemson,
Clemson.
whatever.
Clemson.
If they close as a favorite against South Carolina, it'll be favored for over the Gamecocks in 10 straight meetings dating back to 2014. So 2013 was the last time South Carolina was favored over the Tigers. During that 9-game stretch, Clemson 8-1 straight up and 6-3 against the spread. And they both have faced each other, both ranked in the top 25, 7 times all time. Gamecocks, perfect 7-0 straight up and against the spread in those games when both teams are ranked.
Ooh.
What say you about the Clemson Tigers?
I mean, this is by far the best team they've faced since Georgia, since the beginning of the year. And as far as the Clemson's problems the last few years has come down to their offensive line has not been very good. They had some issues at wide receiver too, or whatever. Clemson's defense has been really good for as long as I can remember. But I'm interested to see if Matt Luke, who they brought in as offensive line coach, how much of a difference does he make in this game? Because look, South Carolina's defensive front is one of the probably 5 or 6 defensive lines in all of college football. They're nasty and got 2 really good pass rushers. They're very aggressive. They play downhill, and they get after you in the backfield. A lot of tackles for a loss, a lot of sacks. So what does I think Cade Klubnik, who can move, he obviously can move. We saw him get loose against Pitt in that that long run at the end of the game. But I mean, I think Clemson really wants to try to run the football with Maffa and with Klubnik, and I don't know that they're going to be able to. They're going to have to against this Clemson defensive front, because if they get to the point where they're just dropping back and passing, and you turn those pass rushers loose for South Carolina, you're in trouble. But having a mobile quarterback like Klubnik, I think, can help them a lot. But something that is intriguing to me with Clemson, they've been significantly better overall across the whole year offensively this year. But when I pull up like the best defenses that they've played this year, they scored 3 points against Georgia. They scored 21 points at home against Louisville, but Louisville's defense is trash. That's not one of the better defenses they played. Virginia Tech, Virginia Tech's solid defensively. Clemson only scored 24 points against Virginia Tech, and they scored 24 points against Pitt. I mean, I think for Clemson to win this game, they're going to need to force some turnovers and set their offense up for short fields because I just don't know that Clemson's offense can sustain drives up and down the field and go the length of the field and sustain drives consistently for 4 quarters against this South Carolina defense. Do you?
No.
I don't either. So, I mean, South Carolina has been playing better ball here lately, but I just think they're going to have to turn South Carolina over. And Lenora Sellers and Rocket Sanders have been an incredible duo in the backfield for South Carolina. But, hey, I have a lot of respect for this Clemson defensive front and this Clemson defensive line. And Clemson's defense for years has been really good as well in getting after you with a rivalry game like this. I do think that they can make Sellers try to have to beat them with his arm. And if they can do that, then I think they have a great shot at winning this game. But I think South Carolina finds a way to win. I do think it's a really good game. And I think that the Coots find a way to beat Clemson in a close game. And if you're listening to this and you're like, what did he just say? I agree. I don't know either. Apparently, I put out a video about Clemson, how they shouldn't have been in the playoffs or whatever. And again, I've backed Clemson all year until this game.
You have yet to sell your stock at Dabo.
I've yet to sell my stock on Clemson. Again, Dabo last year after one of their wins, I think it was a win against Notre Dame. He told everybody if Clemson was a stock, you better buy all you can freaking get. And I said, say less. And I bought that stock. I bought Clemson's win total over. I picked Clemson to win the ACC championship this year. I've bet on them a couple of games this year as well. And heck, I ended up betting on them against one of my boys, against Virginia Tech, at Virginia Tech. And they covered in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I put out a video just saying I didn't think that Clemson should be an at-large team in the playoffs, and the Clemson fans came for my throat on social media. And I kept getting called this thing called a coot, C-O-O-T. And finally, I was like, what the hell is a coot? So I went to Google, and just, Google's our friend, and started finding. I found on some Clemson message boards what a coot was. And so, hey, South Carolina fans, I'm a coot with you this weekend. And I'm taking the Gamecocks to win and cover. Not a best bet, but we're not afraid here to pick games. So I'll take South Carolina to win and obviously cover.
Yeah, the way our year's gone, you just know after that video and getting all those views and comments and everything, Clemson will probably win by 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Miami will lose. Clemson will go to the ACC championship game. They'll win.
And that's
probably
okay.
Probably make a run of the national championship. So good for the Tigers.
Hey, that's okay. I said the only way that Clemson should be in the playoffs is if they win the ACC championship. So if that happens and they win the ACC, I'll be the first pound on the desk for them.
Yeah, and I mean, to their credit, they are still standing on their principles, and they're saying if they win, they're in. Which
I don't know how that's possible, but sure.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah. They're not.
Okay.
By the way, that's not true. They need people to lose ahead of them.
Yeah, that's what I would think. But they seem to think they're going to make it over the ACC loser. So, hey, we'll find out.